Have our assist, please. Executive to let the cat out of the bag around the country, but then it's my pleasure. When you see him, you should know that there is something huge. Of 2, 3, so I'll ask that to do take pictures with also making part of the video we are sending out statement. Okay, don't mistake. Okay, is that okay? Okay, let the last set come now. Good morning. Good morning, sir. Can we take the national anthem? But then I will not be the one that will let the cat.
National Drug Use Survey conducted by the National Bureau of Statistics with technical support from the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime. An estimated 14.4% of Nigerians aged between 15 to 64 years, or roughly 14.3 million people, reported using at least one psychoactive substance in the past year, a figure that is more than twice the global prevalence of drug use. Cannabis stands starkly at the center of this crisis, dominating both patterns of consumption and the illicit cultivation landscape. Cannabis is not a marginal issue in Nigeria. It is the most frequently used and widely available illicit drug in the country. An estimated 10.6 million adults, more than 1 in every 10 Nigerians in the prime of life, reported using cannabis in the past year, far outstripping the use of other substances. The severity of the problem extends beyond consumption into widespread cultivation and organized production. Field assessments focusing on high-risk areas in the Southwest and parts of South-South reveal that nearly 8,900 hectares of land are under cannabis cultivation, often hidden deep within forests and remote regions, a scale that underscores the entrenched and commercialized nature of the trade. These illicit farms are clustered and interconnected, hinting at organized networks that not only supply domestic demand, but also facilitate trafficking beyond Nigeria's borders. The social and public health implications are stark, with youth and adults alike turning to habitual cannabis use, often initiated in late adolescence. The nation faces the threat of long-term health consequences, increased dependency, and cascading social harms, including lost productivity and the burden on overstretched healthcare systems. Apart from the disruptive consequences of cannabis use on our youths, families, and communities, We know that criminalities, and I'm talking about insurgents, bandits, terrorists, mass kidnappers, and murderers, they all mostly rely on cannabis use before carrying out their dastardly activities. More revealing is the fact that out of a total of 15 million kilograms of assorted illicit drugs seized by the NDLEA in the past 5 years, over 75% of them are cannabis. Just imagine the harm that quantity would have done to our youth's public health and national security had it not been intercepted by the NDLEA. This data paints a grim picture. Cannabis use in Nigeria is not an isolated lifestyle choice, but a pervasive public health crisis and socio-economic challenge that demands urgent, evidence-based, and multi-sectoral interventions. For decades, the challenge of illicit cannabis cultivation has persisted, particularly in rural communities where poverty, unemployment, food insecurity, and weak infrastructure are prevalent. Experience across the world has shown that enforcement alone, without development-driven solutions, cannot sustainably address this problem. This press conference, therefore, affords us the opportunity to brief Nigerians and the international community on one of such interventions outside our regular law enforcement efforts. This significant game-changing strategy is the Alternative Development Program, an initiative fully aligned with the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Grand Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic. Alternative development, in a nutshell, is about giving illicit cannabis growers an alternative source of legitimate income through the growing of licit crops like cassava, maize, cowpeas, cocoa, vegetables, and so on, coupled with other interventions that would lead to their achieving sustainable livelihoods and economic empowerment. It is against this backdrop that the NDLEA, with strong support from the federal government and our international partners, has adopted alternative development as a core pillar of our drug control efforts and a veritable counterpart to law enforcement. I am pleased to inform you that last week, between 26th and 28th January 2026, I personally led the NDLEA to successfully launch the Alternative Development Pilot Project in 3 communities in Ondo State. That is Iluabo and Eleyewo, both in Akure North local government area, and Ifon in Oshe local government area. Please note that we have been engaging these communities for over 1 year. I did not just stick up and head out there. We had been engaging with the communities at least 4 times. My team, my AD team, Alternative Development Team, has visited those communities and interacted and engaged with them. And I myself have met with representatives of the community at least once here in this headquarters. I have also sent my team to other alternative development practicing countries in Southeast Asia and Latin America in the course of the last 1 year to understudy alternative development projects there. The pilot project was flagged off with the invaluable support of several global institutions and partners. Ladies and gentlemen, alternative development goes beyond crop substitution. Its wider benefits include strengthening rural economies through value chain development, reducing the burden on law enforcement and the justice system, promoting peace and social cohesion in previously crime-prone areas, supporting national food production and agricultural diversification, improving Nigeria's international standing in global drug control and development cooperation. This approach represents a win-win solution for communities, for government, and for national security. The successful takeoff of the pilot scheme in Iluabo, Ifon, and Elewo clearly demonstrates that alternative development works when communities are engaged, supported, and empowered. We therefore call for a strong national response and sustained support from all stakeholders across all layers of government, traditional rulers and community leaders, development partners and donor agencies, the private sector, and agricultural value chain actors, as well as civil society organizations, and you, the media. We urge communities across the country, particularly those affected by illicit drug cultivation, to embrace this model and work with the NDLEA in building lawful, productive, and secure livelihoods. In conclusion, let me reiterate that the Alternative Development Program is not just a drug control initiative. It is a people-centered development intervention designed to uplift communities, strengthen national security, and secure Nigeria's future. The NDLEA remains fully committed to expanding this program nationwide in partnership with all stakeholders as we collectively build a safer, healthier, and more prosperous Nigeria in alignment with the renewed hope agenda of the President Tinubu administration. I thank you all for your attention.